As a result of the labyrinthine corridors of economic discourse, where the specter of housing market volatility looms large, the harbinger of doom, known as destiny, strides forth with a lexicon that oscillates between the profane and the profound.
Even if inheritances don't matter anymore, okay? Because people stop dying. Boomers never die. They don't ever die in this country. They're all 85, 90 years old. It's unreal. They consume healthcare. They don't work. They eat our Social Security and our Medicare, and they don't give us any money. And they are. It's every accusation is a confession. Boomers are the mythical immigrant. They're the people that are stealing the welfare and stealing the jobs at the same time. It's them. It's the boomers. They won't retire. They won't get the foot of the workforce. They won't leave politics, okay? Feinstein literally had to be wheeled out from the Senate chambers when she was dead, okay? And they're all on Social Security, collecting Social Security at the same time. And they still vote. My God. Hereditary was right. At 72, we're walking up the cliff. Those super low rates also basically locked people into their homes. Getting a new home loan to move would change the rate from like 3 to 7%, meaning it also reduces the velocity of the housing market. What? Hello, Flagella? Who are you? Do we have an Econ 101 graduate? Welcome. That is indeed correct. Oh, not Hereditary. I'm sorry, Midsummer. Hereditary is for annoying children. Yes, that is correct. Because like sometimes I'll like speak. When I'm talking econ, I'm really not trying to normally load anything. It sounds like I'm normally loading stuff. Like I'm saying like, oh, this guy's good or this guy's bad. But it's not. People just do things predictably. They respond to economic incentives. If you're a homeowner and you buy a sick home at a 2% interest rate, you're never leaving that house. Same thing with the rent control thing. Why the fuck would you ever leave that house? You've got the sickest deal in the world. So what does that do to the velocity in the housing market? So you don't have as many people buying and selling, right? So you've got less units available, supply falls. You've got other people that do want to buy, okay? Upward pressure on prices, interest rates are higher, right? There's just so many bad impacts that come from low interest rates on those homes. We need to take homes. Here's what should happen. No home ownership. Every house owned by BlackRock. Every single person a renter. Boom. Housing issues solved in the U.S.
Our country, and it's destroying the black community, probably.
His tirade against the entrenched gerontocracy and the moribundity of American economic structures unfurls like a tapestry woven with threads of righteous indignation. In this digital agora, where the orator's words cut through the virtual din like a gladius through the sinews of a vanquished foe, Destiny's observations on the immobilized housing market and the pernicious influence of the boomer generation stand as a clarion call to those who dare to confront the Gordian knot of modern economics. The crux of Destiny's argument rests on the idea that the baby boomer generation, that graying horde of septuagenarians and octogenarians, has entrenched itself within the corridors of power and prosperity, refusing to relinquish its grip on the reins of both political and economic life. They are depicted as the modern-day equivalents of the mythical Hydra. Each attempt to retire or unseat one merely sees another rise to take their place. They feast upon the banquet of Social Security and Medicare, draining the coffers of future generations while offering not in return but their continued, burdensome presence. In the pantheon of Destiny's ire, the boomer generation is cast as the ultimate economic vampires, parasitic entities who, while siphoning off the lifeblood of the nation's financial stability, refuse to shuffle off this mortal coil, thereby denying the younger generations their much-needed inheritance. The natural order, wherein wealth is transferred from one generation to the next, is disrupted by the seemingly immortal boomers who, in their refusal to die or retire, clog the arteries of economic progression. The expected windfalls of inheritance that should invigorate the younger cohort's financial base are deferred indefinitely, leaving millennials and Gen Zs to languish in a state of economic stasis. Moreover, Destiny paints a vivid picture of a housing market shackled by the golden handcuffs of historically low interest rates. those who secured mortgages at these laughably low rates are depicted as prisoners within their own homes, unable and unwilling to trade their sub-3% loans for the harsh realities of a 7% market. This financial inertia, as Destiny expounds with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel, diminishes the velocity of the housing market, freezing it in a stasis that benefits neither buyers nor sellers. It is as though the housing market itself has succumbed to the same paralytic stasis that afflicts the boomer generation. This immobilization of the housing market, a consequence of the irresistible allure of low interest rates, exerts upward pressure on housing prices. As supply dwindles, those desperate for homeownership find themselves locked out of the market, further exacerbating the already vast chasm between the haves and the have-nots. Destiny's lament is thus not merely for the state of the housing market, but for the economic bifurcation that threatens the very fabric of American society. In this dystopian tableau, Destiny, ever the provocator, offers a solution as radical as it is draconian. The eradication of private homeownership, the wholesale transfer of all residential properties into the hands of monolithic entities like BlackRock, is posited as the panacea for the nation's housing woes. In this scenario, every citizen would become a renter, subject to the whims of corporate landlords who would, in theory, manage the housing supply with an efficiency that the current morass of individual ownership cannot achieve. It is a vision of economic feudalism, where the serfs of the modern age are bound not to the land, but to the rental agreements of faceless conglomerates. Yet, this proposal, as audacious as it may be, serves to underscore the depths of Destiny's disillusionment with the status quo. It is a call to arms, a demand for a radical rethinking of how society allocates and manages its most vital resources. For Destiny, the current system is irredeemably broken, its flaws so deeply entrenched that only the most extreme measures can hope to rectify them. But herein lies the paradox of Destiny's rhetoric. While his invectives are aimed at the very heart of the American dream, his solutions echo the very tyrannies that his audience might fear. The transformation of every citizen into a renter under the dominion of corporate behemoths is not without its own perils, trading one form of economic oppression for another. Yet, it is precisely this dialectical tension that makes Destiny's discourse so compelling, forcing his audience to confront the uncomfortable realities of their economic existence. In the final analysis, Destiny's diatribe is not merely a critique of the housing market or the boomer generation, it is an indictment of the entire economic system that has allowed such inequities to fester. It is a clarion call to reconsider the very foundations upon which wealth and prosperity are built in this nation. If there is to be any hope of salvaging the American dream, Destiny's exhortations demand that we embrace a new paradigm, one that recognizes the limitations of homeownership as a vehicle for wealth and that seeks alternative pathways to economic security. The path forward is fraught with peril, and the solutions may be unpalatable to many. Yet, as Destiny's words echo through the annals of digital discourse, they leave behind a stark reminder: the time for complacency has passed. If we are to avoid the dystopian future that Destiny so vividly imagines, we must act now, demanding policy changes that address the root causes of economic stagnation, advocating for housing reforms that prioritize affordability and accessibility, and embracing investment strategies that offer real, tangible benefits to all citizens, not just the privileged few. Only then can we hope to chart a course towards a more equitable and prosperous future.